Hey, what is up guys? This is Gian of Gadget Pilipinas. Welcome back to the channel. ZenFone is officially back in the Philippines. Just in case you missed it, ASUS Philippines did not make ZenFone 6 and 7 officially available in the country. We can only assume or guess the reasons behind it, but during those times, the landscape was too competitive for them to dip their toes in. Fast forward to today, the new ZenFone 8 series is now available for pre-order in the Philippines. The ZenFone 8 sports a compact build, IP68 rating, and flagship-level chipset by Qualcomm. In this video, however, we'll focus on what ASUS sent over, the ASUS ZenFone 8 Flip. This is technically the third iteration in the ZenFone series to sport a vertical flipping camera module. The first one was ZenFone 6 Flip, the third one was ZenFone 7 Pro, and this one, ZenFone 8 Flip. Join me as I give you my take on this device and my thoughts if it's a good buy or not. Let's talk about first the build. The ZenFone 8 Flip is a thick boy. It's heavier than my Galaxy Z Fold 2 and weighs almost the same compared to the ROG Phone 5. There's a lot of things to cover here, so let's get started with the most important one, the overall build. This smartphone sports a 6.67-inch all-screen nano edge display. As this one has a flipping camera, you won't see any punch hole or notch on its screen. The body is built with three major parts: the rounded back cover protected by 3D curved Corning Gorilla Glass 3, a mid-frame made out of single block of Series 6000 aluminum, and the Corning Gorilla Glass 6 protected FHD Plus AMOLED display. Oh yes, this one is screaming flagship with its overall build, but I'm somewhat perplexed why they chose a 7-year-old Gorilla Glass 3 on the back panel and a 3-year-old Gorilla Glass 6 for its display. Some of its competitors have been using Gorilla Glass Victus on their flagship smartphones, so ZenFone 8 Flip's case is concerning to say the least. The only reasonable explanation that I'm seeing here is that they wanted to bring the cost down as much as possible to make it more competitive versus its major competitors. Despite this setback, I'm a big fan of the quality of its display. It's almost perfect on a smartphone, which makes it stand out in the competition. Naturalmente, as my teacher in Italian would say, this device has a huge all-screen display, then ASUS might as well flaunt and maximize it by giving it the best features available. It's bright even under direct sunlight, it has unbelievably good color reproduction, and it's super responsive thanks to its 2000Hz touch sampling rate. Its Samsung AMOLED display has 90Hz refresh rate, a tad lower than what ROG Phone 5 and Galaxy S21 Ultra can do. It is, however, a sweet spot for flagship smartphones, which has a huge impact on performance and battery life. I'll get more on this later. As for I/O and physical switches, the ZenFone 8 Flip's Type-C port is at the bottom beside its stereo dynamic speaker. There is no 3.5mm headphone jack, so you can either use a Bluetooth headset or buy a Type-C to audio jack adapter so you can use your existing audio equipment. Unfortunately though, ASUS did not include an audio adapter in the box, so your only option is to buy separately. The smartphone also has 3 internal microphones with ASUS noise reduction technology, which is excellent when recording videos with audio or chatting with friends. Physical buttons are located on the right side of the phone. There's a blue-colored sleep-wake button and volume rockers. In terms of camera, it only has a single flipping set which includes a 64-megapixel f1.8 Sony IMX686 sensor. It also has a 12-megapixel dual-pixel Sony IMX363 f2.2 sensor and an 8-megapixel OmniVision sensor. Of course, I'll talk more about the cameras later in this video. Now, there is no question that Snapdragon 888 is the fastest among the flagship mobile chipsets right now. In the end, it will be about optimization and thermal management that will push to its performance boundaries. My experience with the ASUS ZenFone 8 Flip confirms this with its 811,000 Antutu score and impressive gameplay performance on games like Genshin Impact, Diablo Immortal, and also Wild Rift. Based on my artificial benchmark, ZenFone 8 Flip outperformed all flagship smartphones we tested based on Antutu score. It is also considerably faster than Xiaomi Mi 11 and Huawei Mate 40 Pro on 3D Mark Wildlife, PC Mark 2.0, and Geekbench single-core performance scores. Its performance is outstanding while playing Genshin Impact, Diablo Immortal, and Wild Rift. Frame rate is consistent and does not drop below 59 FPS even at maximum settings. The only downside is its thermals, which usually shoots up to 65 degrees Celsius during long gameplay minutes. It does not get too hot compared to Xiaomi Mi 11, but note that this can affect performance and battery life over time. Now, in terms of software, ZenFone 8 Flip runs on the latest version of Android 11 and ZenUI 8.0. As usual, ZenUI has been one of my favorite UIs, and everything I love about it has carried over on this latest version. Convenience and experience are its key features and is neatly spread out in all aspects of the software. The phone feels 100% Google and 100% ASUS. I know it's beyond 100%, and that's because ASUS did a great job in balancing and bringing the best of both worlds. I honestly don't have time to discuss everything, but here are the features that are worth mentioning. This smartphone does not have Armoury Crate, but it has Game Genie, which mimics some of the features you can find on ROG Phone 5. While playing a game, swiping from the left side of the screen brings out this feature, which allows you to change the refresh rate, show real-time information, mark a clip, record, change crosshair, and a lot more. I also love its battery care features, which helps users set the right knobs to protect the integrity and efficiency of the battery. You can limit the maximum percentage it will charge the battery to preserve its efficiency. You can also find this on ROG Phone 5, and it's super useful, especially if you leave your phone charging throughout the night. Another feature which ZenUI 8.0 enhanced is the camera. This brings me to the next topic, which is one of its best aspects: camera. ZenFone 8 Flip packs a flipping camera module which houses 3 sensors from 2 manufacturers, Sony and OmniVision. You will not go wrong with these manufacturers. Sony is known for making top-of-the-line sensors for mobile, consumer, and prosumer cameras, while OmniVision is the same company that developed the sensors for the PlayStation camera, ASUS ZenFone 4 selfie, so remember that, and the autopilot camera of most Tesla car models. In the case of this smartphone, its main camera is a 64-megapixel IMX686 by Sony that can shoot 8K with EIS. This is the same camera that is on the ROG Phone 5. Its second camera is a 13-megapixel Sony IMX363 with 4cm macro shot support and real-time distortion correction. Its third camera is an OmniVision OV08A sensor that has 3 times telephoto zoom support and digital zoom up to 12 times. For your appreciation, I prepared some photos that I took using this smartphone and also the Huawei Mate 40 Pro. Huawei Mate 40 Pro is one of the best camera smartphones around using Leica camera technology. Again guys, my apologies for having almost similar subjects since the start of the pandemic. It is my personal choice to stay at home because I have 2 kids, of course 1 wife, and I hope that you would appreciate the photos that I took. As you can see, while Huawei Mate 40 Pro's camera set seems superior, ZenFone 8 Flip's camera can definitely keep up with it. Color reproduction, saturation level, sharpness are almost identical in most instances. But ZenFone 8 Flip is far better than Huawei Mate 40 Pro in terms of selfie. This is obviously because of the nature of Flip's flipping cameras, pun intended. You're literally just flipping the main camera to the front, so you're maximizing its full potential even for selfies. This is genius, and I now understand why they chose to stick with this design for 3 years in a row. I never got the chance to experience its past iterations, and honestly, I didn't like it until now. The flipping camera has unique features of its liquid metal sleeve. Yep, you heard it right, and I'll get onto that later. There's a quick angle and free angle shooting, which lets you manually adjust its flip settings. There's also motion tracking and automatic panorama, which works on horizontal or panoramic shots. You just have to angle your phone the way you like it. For video shooting features, you get a slew of impressive features on this one. There's support for 8K 30 FPS with EIS that I mentioned earlier, ultra-wide angle 4K 60 FPS video recording, also with EIS, and 4K slow motion at 120 FPS that is perfect for those of you who like to shoot B-roll videos. The phone also has triple microphones if you want to produce a video with good audio quality. Perhaps the best one that I truly enjoyed with this feature is its object focus feature, which seamlessly switches to foreground mode at a fraction of a second. This is best for those who showcase certain products while vlogging or simply shooting a promotional TikTok video. If you're a professional videographer, you will probably appreciate the pro video features that this smartphone has. It has wind filter, mic focus, acoustic focus, hypersteady, and free zoom. However, the lack of manual settings for aperture and the absence of additional assistive settings like focus peaking and exposure verification are quite disappointing. For photography, despite some lacking manual settings, I'm happy that this one supports RAW plus JPEG mode, which allows professional photographers play around with the details of their photos. However, I would suggest ASUS to make it easier to get to or change this particular setting, because I would have to go through Pro mode and then go to modes, and there's a lot of things that must be done in order for me to be able to change to RAW plus JPEG. You know what, guys, I'll probably have a dedicated video about this in order for me to cover and show you all the things that I mentioned. This is a smartphone that can definitely put Huawei Mate 40 Pro to shame and can be a worthy competitor to the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So maybe I will produce a special video that compares all of these three products, maybe in the future. Now, before I move to the next topic, I would like to talk more about the mechanism behind its flipping camera. Moving parts, like the one here, are actually susceptible to wear and tear. This was anticipated by ASUS, so they did everything they can to make it last and withstand the nastiest of drops. It has a sensor that automatically flips its back to safety when it senses that it's falling. As for the build, ASUS used liquid metal for the camera module and 18-layer flexible printed circle with 110 signal outputs compared to the previous iteration. ASUS, actually, they're confident that this camera, or this smartphone rather, can endure up to 300,000 flips. And based on this number of flips, this is about 150 flips per day for more than 5 years. Honestly, that's good enough with me, and I hope that ASUS Philippines is prepared to entertain valid warranty claims with swiftness and precision. Diba? Okay, so now let's briefly talk about the phone's audio. This has impressive audio performance thanks to its two speakers, which is powered by NXP amplifier. It is high-res audio certified, which means it can play your high-res audio at 24-bit settings when paired with high-res audio certified output devices. Perhaps my colleague Eman can do a drill down of this feature when I pass this over to him for maybe an audio review of the ZenFone 8 Flip. As this device does not have a 3.5mm headphone jack, its support for aptX HD, aptX Adaptive, LDAC, and AAC can let you use your Bluetooth audio equipment. You can also tweak the sound settings through Audio Wizard and has a dedicated game mode, which lets you maximize its built-in speakers and ASUS ROG headsets for better audio, gaming, or gameplay experience. Looking at it, the Audio Wizard app is pretty robust and gives access to sound equalizer, presets, and audio profiles. You know what? To me, this is perfect for those who want to have a full control over their auditory experience. Okay, now at this point, let's talk about the ZenFone 8 Flip's camera. This one packs a 5,000 mAh battery that should be enough to power it up all day. Now, based on my experience from its fully charged state, it managed to stay up for 10 hours straight with 22% battery remaining. Brightness is at 60% the whole time, and performance mode is set to on. The GSM is turned off, but Wi-Fi is up the whole time. This is highly acceptable by my standards, and I expect its battery to perform better in the next few days of usage. Now, updates about this particular feature will be put on my review at gadgetpilipinas.net. Now, ASUS also included a 30 watts hypercharger in the box of ZenFone 8 Flip. It fully charges the phone in less than 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this smartphone has battery protection features installed, so you won't have to worry about its efficiency over time. Okay, so now let's talk about the verdict. You know, ASUS needs to put a brave face when they've opened their stores, virtual or brick and mortar, to sell the ZenFone 8 Flip. Its price will, ultimately determine its chance to win in the flagship category because they are playing in this field dominated by OnePlus, Xiaomi, Samsung, and also Apple. But I'm certain that all the new features they're waving to their consumers can take on what other brands can do. If they price this below OnePlus 9, about the price of OnePlus 9 with Hasselblad's camera technology, or Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra 5G, ASUS will have a winning chance. If its price, however, gets too close to ROG Phone 5 or the Galaxy S21 Plus, then ASUS must have hardworking marketing and sales activities to push this to their consumers. Also, let's not forget the part where ASUS would need to honor its commitment to after-sales service. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this review. If you like this, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. This has been Gian. Catch you in the next one.